All right, guys, we are live on YouTube. Now we get to look at the camera. So the conversation, though, is bringing Nick Haggerty, one of our property management gurus, into the business and having a conversation about what do we do to get property owners that currently are renting their home to think about bringing their house onto the market as a new listing. A lot of the conversations that we have is, I need more listings, right? Everybody needs more listings. The market is just dying for inventory. So one of the avenues is the fact that property owners are not always, I think the word is happy with property management, right?
I'd say that's definitely not 100% of the time.
Not
Property owners who are renting out their property, are they happy? That would definitely be
right. And especially in our market, because our market tends to deal with a lot of military, which means a lot of those property owners may have been forced by the fact that they couldn't sell the property originally. So now what can they do to level up and maybe put some equity into their pocket? So I think the first part of them is realizing what the market's doing. Because contrary to popular belief, not everybody understands how the market is in whatever market you're in. In our case, El Paso. Right.
Okay.
So that's one, letting the owners know, right? Communicating with those people. And I've shown you guys a couple times how you can use the taxing entities to find absentee owners, right? That's the first start. And then the second conversation, and Nick has these conversations. That's why I really wanted to have him on this kind of broadcast, is that you've had the conversation a lot about owners that don't want to be owners anymore. So talk us through what that means.
Pain points, if you will, as a property owner who, like I said, is renting out their property.
So let's focus on those for a second. What are the pain points?
Well, a couple of reasons why someone, because right now rents are out there. Rents are crazy high.
So they may be making money now.
Right, they're probably cash flowing for the first time.
They probably still have payments.
There's probably still a lot of people out there who are finally making cash flow out of their rental properties for the first time, possibly ever. Because a lot of these guys bought, like you said, they're military. They bought as a specialist in El Paso and thought, all right, I'm gonna get in here with my VA loan, nothing down. Now I'm upside down in the house, and then 3 years later, I'm going to sell it for a profit. And they're like, great, yeah, you can sell, but if you got to bring 8 to 12 grand to the table. So they decided to rent the property. They were losing anywhere from $100 to $200. And it happens quite a bit. Still not a bad investment, but it's probably not ideal. You want to get something going.
Can I stop you on that one real quick? So the beautiful thing about that is that if they were losing money over the last couple of years, that is something that they can use as a tax incentive going forward if they decide to sell today. So just wanted to kind of layer that in.
No, they're not bad, right? But they do need someone who knows what they're talking about to help them with that situation.
By the way, that's a tax professional, not me. I'm just giving a layer of idea of things that I know as a property owner.
If I pointed at Ryan, he can point you in the right way. But no, so that's one thing, right? There's a lot of people out there that are probably actually cash flowing now. However, at the very beginning, they probably the rents went up, property taxes went up, cost or the value of houses went up. You know what else went up? Materials, labor. So when you get a cost for, say, a water heater, right? What used to cost a couple $100, when I say a couple $100, like back in the day, it was like 600, let's say $800 to replace a water heater. Now, $1,200 or more, depending on what else you've got to go.
If you're
missing a couple of things, it depends on what's going on. If you already, and now they get in there and they're like, oh yeah, you got the wrong kind of flex tube and whatever. Now you're looking at 12, 15,
17 years of property management. He still calls it the flex tube.
Right. Flex tube. Write that down. So the point is you don't know what you're going to get on this, but now they're seeing these repairs and it is a beatdown. I'm here to tell you, I've got quite a few rentals and I'm seeing these repairs. I'm like, what is happening? It's insane. And a lot of that is, and the reason for that, it's not because people are trying to, take advantage of people. What it is it costs a lot to get somebody just to show up to do tile work or water heater work or whatever the case it is. So these repairs have really gone up. And then, like I said, everybody out there right now, everybody's got their property taxes and they're like, what is happening? I have to pay $200 more a month on this thing. Get rid of it. But so a lot of this would be
because they may be locked in to the same rate on rent, but that does not mean that they will be able to pay the new rates of what the
we're talking their tenant is.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. You're not gonna be able to raise the rents on. You're not gonna be able to raise the rent on your tenant till that lease is up. So they could be in there for 1 to 2 years, depending on when they signed it. So that's a very intimidating situation. Where now all of a sudden I gotta provide $200 more a month to cover this. So if you get them on the right time, so right now would be a great time to probably call around and look at people and say, hey, I don't know if you noticed, but your payments are about to go up significantly. How about we just get rid of this? Oh, and by the way, the value is
why we're having this conversation now is that you need to be using these pain points, increase in labor, increase in costs to repair that property, increase in deferred maintenance.
Deferred maintenance is a huge one right now.
And then you have,
For
listen,
property owners, because if you're renting that property, there's a lot of people. And what we do is we'll go through and we'll do our inspections, things like that. And you'd be surprised the amount of properties out there that El Paso uses a lot of stucco. Right? A lot of stucco has been damaged through age and exposure to the sun. And it doesn't take a lot of age or exposure to the sun to start destroying stucco. So you get a lot of it. So they have to go there and start taking care of that. All the wooden areas on the exterior of the house. Once that paint has peeled away and that wood is exposed, it's rotting away. You're looking at a pretty decent amount to start getting that in there. And when you tell somebody, hey, we're gonna put this on the market, get you top dollar, but you're gonna have to pay a couple $1,000s to get this thing going, that can be hard to take to.
now let's put this in a different category for a second. Let's just say that they like being a property owner, but maybe they have a house that they have done some deferred maintenance on. Here's the value. They can literally take that house, 1031 it out of that house and move it into another property, avoiding any tax ramifications. Once again, speak to your tax professional, avoiding any tax ramifications, and now moving that into a like kind property, similar. So they can move from one rental to another. In fact, I've always been told, and I really don't follow this rule, but I've been told that you should always be doing that, moving your money from one property to another, leveling up, if you will, and
rich dad, poor dad. That's pretty much what he tells you to do the whole time. Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, that's one of those things we can help with that. We can help with aspects of that, not the entire aspect of that, but we can help with aspects of that. But yeah, and that
should be too. And that's, you should partner with the opportunities that level you up in your business, because if you take those opportunities, right now is a perfect one. This is why I wanted Nick here, because he has heard it repetitively, time and time again. The conversation of property taxes, the conversation of labor increase. I own properties and I yell at the work order specialist almost every time when she tells me I don't do that now. Anyways, but that's the reality. Listen, you have to realize that values have gone up, but so have costs.
Well, and a lot of people don't realize that the homeowners, they think, hey, I paid blank for this house 2 more years ago. Imagine how much that house is worth now. And when they actually do find out, oh, by the way, we can sell this thing for blank amount now, it's shocking. I mean, it is shocking. So they're like, yes, let's do that. And they might want to 1031 exchange. They might want to, hey, let's level up, if you will. But the next thing they might want to do is, I just want to be done with this, because it can be very frustrating. It does take the special type. You might also see the people who inherited a house.
Correct.
This was mom's house, or this was dad's house, this was my grandma's house. This is the house I grew up in. And now it's an investment property, and it's really hard to take the emotion out of investment. And there's nothing worse than when they see the property that they grew up in and they come home and that tree is dead, or that rose bush that they planted with their fathers that they grew up and all that, and now it's gone, or there was something they put in there, or that house had just run down. Or and it could be deferred maintenance, whatever the case is, but it doesn't look the same way as it did when dad lived there. And that's always going to be an emotional pain. So sometimes it's good to have that closure, sell the property, and that way I can get away from it instead of holding on to it and seeing what's going on. Maybe you find that. So that's one of those things to stay consistent on it, but go out there, find these people, find out what they want, and you might really be helping them out in a big way, and just catch them on the right time.
So let's highlight a couple of those pain points so you can make sure you're putting marketing together for these. And we'll come back and do some marketing pieces that we identify. So item number 1 is going to be that cost of maintenance, that cost to get back into the deferred. Significant. The second is going to be, and I think this almost paramounts right now, the property taxes, right? So I would almost put this as classifier number 1, especially if you're trying to get a marketing piece out in the next couple of weeks. Put that top of mind. Property taxes are going up, and you need to ask the question if this is still a process of making money that you want to be. Do you still want to be a property landlord? Last one is basically that concept of emotion. Do you need to detach yourself from that emotion? Now, these are all very unique marketing pieces. They
level up's a big one too. Level up's huge.
Yeah, level up and creating.
Because not only then you're getting a sell and a buy.
And they might be able to, they might also be able to move that 1031 money into their own market where they may have moved to, especially in military terms, that they may have moved to a different market and they want to basically move that money over. And I think that one thing that is really relevant, might release some of those VA funds. That's a good point. See, these are the things that we need to be talking about, and we need to be talking about with our clients and with clients that we're creating through using some of those tools. Remember, we've talked about absentee owners by using Remind. We've talked about some of these other calibers. And right now, using these pain points to level yourself up when you're having that conversation is key. So thank you, Nick, for giving us that little insight on 17 years in the property management business, and using that 17 years to level up your business right now. So remember, if you are not doing this type of marketing right now, get out, figure it out, get on Canva, create some marketing pieces, go knock some doors, talk to some people. It is going to be relevant for you to get some listings in a market where they'll sell overnight. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully that was valuable to you. And remember, if you ever have any questions, you can always go to Partner with Burds to get an idea of how to partner with us to get more knowledge just like this. Thank you guys for coming on, and we appreciate you. God bless.